Okay. All right. I know some people are running late today, so we're gonna go ahead and get started because we don't want to wait Saturday. Subjunctive mood. Some people say subjunctive tense, but subjunctive mood. I've expressed this week already that we do two moods. We speak in two moods, the indicative and subjunctive. Well, what's the difference? Well, the indicative, I call it the here and now. It's the actual, it's the point blank value type speaking. And the subjunctive goes into the forms where we're talking about, yeah, we having doubt or we preferring, all these states of being that are not actual and factual. Like I think that, or I wish that, I want that. Those are not all factual things. These are doubtful things. It may happen, it may not happen. So that's where the two moods come in. These are moods. But in each mood, you have tenses. We have the same tenses, but they're conjugated differently. In English, it's very easy to, we speak in these moods all the time, but we don't know the difference because our conjugations are pretty much the same. There's no change in our conjugations, so we don't know. It's a default for our language because we don't know whether we're talking in subjunctive or not because everything's the same. In Spanish, they differentiate with these indicative and subjunctive. They differentiate a big time. Where's Tiffany? Tiffany, you on my video? Oh, no, she's not there at all. She must gonna try to log in again. Okay, so what we got going on is we already expressed how to conjugate verbs in the present. Okay, a minute again. In the present subjunctive, which is we have the present subjunctive, the past subjunctive, we have the imperfect subjunctive, the present perfect subjunctive, all those tenses, everything we've learned thus far can be put into the subjunctive. Most of them, not all, most of them. Our goal is going to be to talk about the present and the present perfect subjunctive today. And then we'll go on to the imperfect subjunctive and the past perfect subjunctive. Those are the ones that are most useful. Those are the ones we hear a lot. So we're going to go to those main ones. Some of them we'll never use. I know I've never used them. So it's not that you can't talk without using these other tenses. We don't need all that. The main one we need will be the present perfect, and the imperfect, and the what's the other one? The past perfect. We'll learn those ones. All right. We've already discussed how to we discussed in class how the changing of the conjugation is a little different. So we already know that if we have an AR verb, we give it our AR and we add these endings, which are pretty much the ER endings of verbs in present tense. You got an E, but the only thing is you have an E here. E and an E, two E's. E, ES, E, EMS, and EN. Easy to, because we were familiar with this pattern, so it's easy to remember. Then we have for the ER and IR verbs, they have the AR endings, but it has two A's, A and A. A, AS, A, AMS, and AN. Easy to remember because we are familiar with these endings. But the yo form is different. Okay, so easy to remember also because the AR takes the ER and ER endings, and the ER and IR takes the AR endings. Totally different, totally absurd, totally different from anything we've learned. And that's why this is so important. This also connects you to your imperative, which is your command forms, and your negative command forms. All this is all dealing with subjunctive moves. So the text starts you off teaching the endings, which I would suggest they teach you the uses first. But they start off with the endings and the conjugation first. So in your classroom, I did put a worksheet. It's a subjunctive worksheet. And I don't know what I label it as, but if you have it, it starts off with the chapter 11. It says the subjunctive and noun clauses.
In our regular Spanish classroom?
Yes. In your regular Spanish class, in your class, it does.
Okay.
It has a worksheet. I don't know what I labeled it as, but it's quite recent, so you'll see it. It might say subjunctive, or I don't know what it says. And we'll probably be doing this little Saturday study on this for about a couple more weeks, because this is like, it's very important. And I'm glad I was able to get it in before you guys graduated. But instead of waiting for the book, spreads it out from the present subjunctive and I think the past perfect subjunctive, like at the end of the book. So it's like a gap in between, but we're gonna do it all now, and then we'll go back to the book.
I don't see it.
I was about to ask, did you find it? Because I don't see it.
No, let me look in here and see. Let me see what I did. I don't did something crazy. Let me see. If not, I can upload it right now. I hope you have it. My goodness. Who is that? Somebody coming in.
Mr. Meeks, maybe?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me take a look into the classroom and see what we got. It better be there because I know I did. Let's see. 2, 1. Hold on, Mr. Meeks.
Subjunctive worksheet in, but we don't find it.
I didn't see it in the classroom
Yes.
the other day.
Look at, okay, you know what? It's there, but it's not there. It's there, but I haven't, it's not.
No,
It's not.
no. It's either
It's
there
not
or it's
posted yet.
not.
Oh, it's there. I'm looking at it now.
No.
You guys can't see it now.
No.
You guys can't see it.
No.
So now it's
There
there.
or it's not.
Well, guess what, Mr. Meeks? Hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'll tell you, it's either there or it's not. You know, there's no two
You're
ways
absolutely
about
right.
it.
You're absolutely
Either
right.
there
You're
or it's
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm so wrong, and you're absolutely right. And guess what? Guess what?
It's there
wait a
now.
minute. It's supposed to be
It's
there right
there
now.
Okay.
Hold on, it's gonna be there right now. Give me a second. I scheduled it for tomorrow. Actually, that's what I scheduled it for. So I'm gonna let me.
It's really a bad day.
Mr. Meeks always give me a hard time.
No, I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance yet. It's coming.
Yet. Okay, what's the time is it? It's 2:09. So let's do 2:10.
St. Louis, which folder? Spanish 2?
Spanish 2.
Okay. In your classroom.
Okay.
All right. At 2:10, it should post. So it should post in a minute. Okay. I'm just waiting for this to make sure it's okay. It's 2:10 now. Post now. Post. You don't normally do good when I do that. Okay, I can force it to post. Oh, wait a minute, what just happened? Okay. Really good to the whole different way. Saturday, April 17th. All right, so I'm gonna schedule this for 15, give it a little more time. Probably have time to recognize it. All right, we're gonna do schedule for 2:15, and it gives me a few minutes to talk. Schedule for. It's supposed to 2:15. All right, schedule it. There we go. Now, all right. So 2:15 it is. Go back. Now if I can find y'all, where y'all at? I hear you, but I can't see you. Right there you go. Hey, hell no. I hear you, but I can't see you. There you go. There you go. I got you. I tell you, I've been working it. Now, I tell you, I heard y'all. I'm pushing the button. I can't see you. Where you at? All right. So. Subjunctive. We were clear that there's two moods we speak in. Our tenses, two moods. We speak in the indicative and we speak in the subjunctive. And I was just making it clear to Aubrey that we are at a disadvantage in English because our subjunctive mood speaking tenses are the same as our indicative mood speaking tenses. There are no spelling changes, so we don't know. We're not quite on point with that. Whereas many of the other languages, they differentiate their subjunctive mood speaking, and they have spelling changes. And Spanish, of course, has spelling changes. And the main spelling change is going to be that we know that the AR verbs in the present tense subjunctive and ER ending, except that the yo form is E. You got two E's. All right. And the same thing with the ER and IR verb endings, they end in the AR endings, but in the yo form is an A. You got two A's. But the rest of the endings are AR endings. So it doesn't. We're familiar with this already. It doesn't make it not that bad because we're familiar with the endings. Now we gotta get used to putting those endings into effect. The key here is to know when to put these endings into effect. All right, because we didn't know when to do this. So that's why a verb like hablar. Okay, the conjugation in the present subjunctive would be hable, hables, hable, hablemos, and hablen. If I had a verb like comer, and the present subjunctive will be coma, comas, coma, comamos, and coman. That is totally the flip opposite of what we've learned up to this point. Okay, so now, Mr. Lewis, are you telling me that I have to learn all of these verbs in the subjunctive? Pretty much. Yes, you're gonna have to learn all these verb endings and according to the tense you're speaking in. Is it gonna be hard? It's not gonna be hard. It's gonna be just like you learned anything else. And in fact, it's kind of cool. When you start doing it, you're like, yeah, it's all right. But the thing about it is, we have to learn it if we really want to speak Spanish, because you cannot speak Spanish without speaking in subjunctive. You will need it eventually. You're gonna say, I prefer that you not do that. That's subjunctive. You're gonna say that I wish you would go home. That's subjunctive. You're gonna say, I need you to take out the trash. That's subjunctive. So you're gonna use it. You're gonna need it. And to do it correctly, you got to learn it. That's the easy part, because the present subjunctive is very easy. I also tie this into your command forms. Your commands, remember, if you remember back to the commands, your commands take your subjunctive endings. And what's really crazy about the commands, I don't think we ever got into it too much, but the negative commands take the actual all endings. If I tell you, don't speak, and I'm using the you form, I say no hables. Because the negative command is your subjunctive endings. If I say a negative command, don't eat that, mama. Talk to your mother. No la coma. Or it could be comas if it's two. It's a command. And a negative command. Your affirmative commands are something totally different. You only dealing with the two and your usted. In your negative commands, you gotta use all your forms. This is kind of I think it's fun, but you gotta be like, oh my goodness, what's this? All right, let's see. Is it 2:15 yet? Is it 2:15 yet?
Not yet.
Hopefully. Okay. All right. So once it does show up, it's gonna start showing you the present subjunctive endings like we've already done. And it's gonna give you some good examples. It's gonna start off with the verb estudiar, to study, comprender, to learn, and vivir, to live. It's going to show you the conjugation of them in the subjunctive, present. And it's going to add some words in front of it. It's quiere que. Now we know quiere means he wants or she wants. Quiere que. It also says espera que. Esperar means what?
So where's your hope?
So where's the hope? Okay, so it has espera que. And it also has prefieren que. And we know that preferir means to prefer. So I want, or she wants, she wishes, or they prefer. Now, a key word in this kind of clause is the word que, which in this sense means that. It's not. It doesn't have an accent mark on it, so it doesn't mean what. If it has accent mark on que, it means what. Without the accent mark, it means that. Okay, so quiere que, he wants that, and we don't say it like that in English, but that's the way I like to say it to know I know in my mind that subjunctive is coming. Quiere que estudie idiomas. I'm gonna take this out the board. We got this part already. Hey. Quiere que. All right, so somebody wants that. He wants that. He wants or she wants, or even usted, you want. Let's stick with usted, you want. Quiere que, you want. What do you want somebody to do? They give you an example of study languages. Study language. So you want us to study languages. Us. Let's say you want us to study languages. I talked to my mom. You want us to study languages? Quiere que. Verb is estudiar. But in the subjunctive, because I know that quiere que automatically is going to bring subjunctive. Estudiemos idiomas. Quiere que estudiemos idiomas. I took the. It's not an AR ending, it's an ER ending. Estudiemos idiomas. Let's say I was telling my mom, you want me to study languages?
I'm sorry, you said it's estude what?
Emos, E-M-O-S. Because it's the AR verb.
Right.
Okay. So quiere que. Now say you want me to say languages? You want me to say languages? Quiere que estudie idiomas. Okay. Now watch this. I didn't say estudie idiomas. Look how close that is to the what tense? Estudie will be what? That's a past tense. That's a preterite right there. If I had an accent mark on that E, estudie idiomas. And with that being said, there is a spelling, there's a pronunciation change. Estudie, and take the accent mark off. Estudie. You get that? Quiere que estudie idiomas. Quiere que estudie idiomas. That's just subjunctive. There's no accent mark on that. Quiere que estudie idiomas.
Okay, and
But
then, sorry, but the verb is estudiar.
yes,
Okay, and then but it's estudi. Is that how are you spelling that?
E-S-T-U-D-I-E.
Okay, I couldn't see the I. Okay.
Okay. So quiere que estudie idiomas. And I was making sure you see that that's so close to that preterite. That if I had an accent mark on that thing, it'd be estudie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how important an accent mark is. Estudie. Not only does it sound different, it's spelled differently. I mean, with the accent mark. Estudie and estudie. So I gotta actually know what I'm saying. Quiere que estudie idiomas, estudie. Quiere que estudie idiomas. You want me to say language, or you want that I say languages? That's what you're saying here. You want them to say languages? Quiere que them, they, estudien idiomas. You want them to say languages, the EN, it says they, them. Quiere que estudien idiomas. This is how it works, and I always try to express how it's generally the first clause is one person wishing or desiring something that in your second clause someone else to do. Generally, that's generally how it goes. What you're going to get eventually, it's going to be a list of words that's generally going to, invoke subjunctive. In other words, when you see the certain words, you know that it's subjunctive coming up. When I see quiere que, I know that subjunctive is coming up. Prefiero que, I prefer you to study hard. Prefiero que estudies duro. It's subjunctive. All because I said prefiero que. The last one was they had on here is esperar, to wish, to hope. So I hope she goes to the doctor. I hope she goes to the doctor. I hope she goes to the doctor. Espero que. I hope she goes to the doctor. Espero que vaya al doctor. Well, it's vaya, but that's irregular for the verb ir. That's irregular, and we did kind of go over that, but we haven't actually gotten there yet. So I used a bad verb, but here we go. Espero que vaya al doctor. And this is all present tense. I hope she goes. It's all present tense. We in the present tense now because there are other tenses. Now, has that thing popped up yet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you're looking on page 127, the first page, chapter 11, that's what I'm going through. You see estudiar, comprender, and vivir. And you're seeing that they changed the endings. You got estudiar as your endings, estudie, estudies, estudie, estudiemos, and estudien. And then you got comprender, then the ER verb has your AR endings. Comprenda, comprendas, comprenda, comprendamos, comprendan. And that's all after espera que. Somebody hopes that. Somebody hopes I. Somebody hopes you. Somebody hopes he. Somebody hopes we. And somebody hopes they. All right. And then vivir. Prefieren que. Somebody prefers that someone lives somewhere. Somebody prefers that someone lives something. So look at the first example they give you. Prefieren que viva aquí. They prefer that I live here. And that's the irregular verb conjugation for ir. So, prefieren que vivas aquí. They prefer that you live here. Prefieren que viva aquí. They prefer that she lives here, that she live here. Now, I'm looking at the English conjugation. Look at how they said they prefer that she live here. And we know that it should, in a regular conjugation, is she lives in the present tense. She lives here. But they don't say they prefer that she lives here. They prefer that she live here. That's the subjunctive in English that we don't really ever get to know that we speak in subjunctive. So there is a slight spelling change there. So it should be she lives. All right. But the English is really hard to differentiate the subjunctive. Okay, let's move on. On page 128, it continues on to go, well, first of all, I want to go to the top of 128 and point out the new little phrase, aconsejar. Aconsejar means to advise. To advise. That's another word that invokes subjunctive. Aconsejan que. That que is all over the place. That que is big for subjunctive. So le aconsejan que, they advise her that, I said that, to think more. All right, le aconsejan que. So that's another one that's gonna let you know you're talking to subjunctive. Coming up next. All right. Our verbs that have a stem change, either E to IE, which there are many. But here we're gonna look at seguir. I mean, it's the same tier. We know that it goes to siento, sientes, siente for the conjugated normally. Well, they keep that IE. And it's sienta, sientas, sienta. You hear people say, no, I'm gonna go there. And then you go back to sintamos and sientan. So that stem change stays stem change the same way, but the ending still changed. Seguir is sigas, because you know that normally seguir is sigo, sigues, sigue, seguimos, and siguen. But here we keep the SIG, siga, sigas, siga, sigamos, and sigan. Now, I will say that there are a lot of these verb forms you're just gonna have to get familiar with, because you're gonna, like the next verb, dormir. We are used to seeing that UE combination. We used to seeing that. Yo duermo, tú duermes. We used to seeing the UE. So I'm gonna have to get used to seeing that UE combination with these endings. That's two things going on. I have a stem change and I have an ending going on. Duerma, duermas, duerma, and then durmamos, and then duerman. All right. So some of these we're going to get used to. Once you get one of them, you kind of get the rest of them too. Verbs that are conjugated like dormir, verbs that are conjugated like seguir. You're going to get, once you get one, you're going to kind of start getting the rest of them. Okay. Verbs ending in IAR or UAR. We have enviar and continuar. Now, these are not too bad. All we're doing here is knowing that the I or the U takes an accent mark in the subjunctive, which will change the pronunciation. And the conjugation of enviar, envio, envias, envia, enviamos, and envian. But here in subjunctive, envíe, envíes, envíe, enviemos, and envíen. So that accent is right there on that I. And the continuar, we can conjugate it as continuo, continuas, continua, continuamos, and continuan. Here we have continue, continues, continue, continuemos, and continuen. The accent mark does make it when you have a U and an E beside something like that, we're supposed to say continue, continue, but it's not going to be that. It's going to be continue. So the accent makes you say the word a little differently. So those words you have to get used to. Let's do a practice on activity A. It says, pero yo sí quiero. Un amigo suyo le menciona varias cosas que no suceden. Usted le dice que si quiere que pasen. Escriba oraciones usando el presente del modo subjuntivo. Siga el modelo. So the model says, Alicia no estudia química. So Alicia, she doesn't study chemistry. And you gonna go back and say for each one, pero yo quiero que estudie química, but I wish that she studies chemistry. So for each sentence, you're gonna come back and say, you wish that person does whatever they don't do. So each sentence they're not doing something, but you wish they did. I start number one. Marcos no trabaja en el informe. Okay, so Marcos is not working on the report. El informe is a report. Okay, pero yo quiero que trabaje en el informe. So but I wish he worked on the report. Yo quiero que trabaje. I put the E on it in an informe. All right. So number two. Let's go 2, 3, 4. Let's go Miss Buchanan, Mr. Meeks, and then Miss Aubrey. In that order, we're not these out.
Okay. Yo no consigo empleo.
I'm not finding a job. I'm not finding a job. I'm not getting a job.
Pero yo quiero que consigue.
Now, conseguir is a IR verb.
Oh, consiga
Okay.
empleo.
Okay, pero yo quiero que consiga empleo. Or yo quiero que consigas, if you happen to, empleo. Good job. All right, number 3.
Federico y Paula no nos escriben.
Okay, Federico and Paula are not writing us.
Not writing us.
Okay.
Quiero que Federico and Paula nos escriben.
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 Spell that.
ESCRIBEAN.
Okay, so it can be ESCRIBAN.
That's what I said.
I thought you said EAN.
No, and.
Okay, so then it'd be escriban.
Escriban.
Okay, so pero yo quiero, and you could just say, yo quiero que ellos nos escriban. You could just say ellos if you want to, or you could just write the name like you did. All right, nos escriban, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
she's in the mood.
Just like, okay, Juanita no sigue nuestros consejos. Pero yo quiero que ella siga nuestros consejos.
Good job. Yes, but Juanita's not following our advice, but I want her to follow our advice. Okay, so nosotros no comemos fuera hoy. So we're not eating out. We're not eating out today. Nosotros, pero yo quiero que comamos fuera hoy. Yo comamos. That's what I use. All right, number 6.
Yo no vuelvo temprano.
I'm not coming back early.
Pero yo vuelva.
But I want you.
Oh, yo quiero que vuelvo.
Now I want you.
Velvet.
And watch this. Volver is ER verb. There you go. Vuelvas. Good job. Or vuelva, either one. Okay. Temprano was early. So I'm not coming back early. He said, but I want you to come back early. Pero yo quiero que vuelvas temprano. Okay. Number 7.
Quiero que ellos duermen la siesta.
Okay, Mr. Mix, you got to be careful how you pronounce that. Because you're saying duermen, and that's exactly what you got there, duermen. Now, I don't know if you meant to say that, because it should be
A-N.
Duerman.
Duerman.
Okay, good job. All right. And number 8, Sims Aubrey.
Oh, okay. Tú y yo no pedimos taxi. Pero yo quiero que nosotros pedamos taxi.
Okay, good job. So you and I are not asking for a taxi, but I want us to ask for a taxi. Ask for a taxi. Yo quiero que pidamos un taxi. Okay, good job. So you guys are getting that. Y'all guys got the hang of that. I'm going to log out because it's here on the time. I know it's been 40 minutes. I know that. Or maybe it has been almost. Let me log out. Let me log back in.
Yeah. 30.
All right, log back in.